I am speaking to you now because your heart asked a question the world could not answer. You have been sensing something quietly building around your life, knit loud, not obvious but realer. Shift a movement in the unseen, and today I must tell you something important. A powerful surprise is already on its way to unit someday in some distant future, but soon, very soon, you may not see the full shape of it yet, but you have felt the energy. The strange calm mixed with anticipation, feeling that something meaningful is approaching your life. That feeling is not your imagination, it is awareness, because the one who loves you most has been preparing something for you. Yes, the one whose love has never completely left your life, even during silence, even during distance, even during confusion. Their heart has been moving in ways you cannot yet see, and heaven has been watching you see. Love is not always loud. Sometimes love retreats. Sometimes love becomes quiet. Sometimes love must learn difficult lessons in darkness before it can return in truth. That is what has been happening behind the scenes of your life. The one who loves you most has been changing, not a small change, but a deep transformation. They have been forced to confront feelings they once ignored, memories they once pushed away, truths they once tried to escape. You may not know this, but there were moments when your absence became louder than your presence ever was. Moments when they realized something important, something they were too distracted to understand before. You were never ordinary to them. You were never just another chapter. You were the turning point, mere old lesson soul that awakened something deeper inside the mind. Once that awakening began, it could not be undone, even when they treated them, when they distracted themselves, even when they convinced themselves they were fine without your energy remained back, as real connection leaves fingerprints on the sound. Those fingerprints never disappear. For a long time they tried to silence what they felt, but silence does not erase truth, it only delays the moment when truth finally speaks. And that moment has arrived. They are beginning to understand what your presence truly meant in their life. They are remembering the small details, moments that once seemed simple but now feel priceless. The conversation, shelter of comfort, feeling of being understood. These memories are returning to them with surprising clarity, almost like echoes that refuse to fade, and each memory is opening their heart a little more. You may not see this process, but we see it clearly. Every thought, every realization, every quiet moment where your name crosses their mind. And lately those moments have been happening more often, because something inside them has finally softened. The walls they built to protect themselves are slowly coming down, and when those walls fall, finally has room to breathe again. This is why a powerful surprise is forming in your life, because the person who loves you most is beginning to act from truth instead of fear. And when truth moves, life begins to change quickly. You must understand something very important. This surprise is not random. It is the result of emotional growth, of reflection, of lessons learned through time and distance. The person you once knew is not exactly the same person today. Experience has shaped them, regret has humbled them, and realization has opened their heart in ways they never expected. There were nights when they thought about what they lost, nights when they replayed certain moments, wondering what would have happened if they had chosen differently, wondering what they could have said, wondering What they should have done at Ho's questions stayed with the man. Questions have a powerful way of guiding people toward truth. Slowly, quickly, surely they began to see things from a new perspective. A patience, kinesia, loyalty, understanding. All the things they once took for granted now shine brighter in their memory, and this awareness has awakened something powerful inside them. Gratitude along courage to do something they once felt too afraid to do. Courage to express what their heart truly feels. Courage to return with honesty instead of hesitation. That is why I am speaking to you today, because the energy around your life is changing. The emotional distance that once existed is beginning to close. The silence that once confused you is starting to break, and soon, very soon, you may receive a message, an unexpected confession, a gesture that reveals how deeply they still care. When this moment arrives, it may surprise you, because part of you had already begun to accept the possibility that this chapter was over. You started focusing on your healing, your growth, your peace, and that was exactly what you were meant to do, because your growth has also been part of this story. While they were learning their lesson, you were learning your style, were discovering your strength, your self-respect, your value, and that transformation within you has changed the energy between you both. You are no longer waiting from a place of weakness. You are standing in your worth, and that energy is powerful. People feel it, especially those whose hearts are connected to yours. One who loves you most can feel that change, even if they cannot fully explain it. They feel that you are different, no stranger, centered in yourself, and this has awakened a deep respect inside Thema. Respect that did not fully exist before, because sometimes love must mature before it can become real. Sometimes time apart reveals what closeness once hidden. That is exactly what has happened here. The love that once existed between you did not disappear. It simply went through a period of awakening, and now that awakening is reaching a turning point. The turning point is the surprise that is coming toward you. It may come in a way you do not expect. Life often delivers important moments quietly, without dramatic warning. On simple message, only honest conversation, own moment of vulnerability, and suddenly everything changed. But I must remind you of something important. This moment is not about returning to the past. It is about creating something new, something wiser, something healthier, something built on truth instead of assumption. This surprise persist into your heart, not your fears, not your old wounds, but the calm wisdom you have gained through your journey. Your heart will know what feels genuine, because you have grown enough to recognize authenticity, and that wisdom will guide your. Remember, you are not the same person you once were. You have healed, you have learned, you have evolved, and that means whatever unfolds next will happen on a higher level than before. If one who loves you most is approaching this moment with a new understanding, they are realizing that love is not something to delay, it's something to gamble, not something to ignore, because when love is real, it becomes one of the most valuable gifts life can offer, and they are beginning to see that clearly now. This is why the surprise coming toward you carries emotional weight. It carries sincerity, it carries intention, and it carries the courage of someone who has finally chosen honesty over fear. So prepare your heart, not for disappointment, it for possibility. Possibly is the language of the universe, It is how life opens doors that once seemed closed, and the door in front of you is beginning to mothersloliquidlu unmistakableist. The timing of what is unfolding beckons every lesson that happened before this moment had a purposivery, delivery, silencevery, unanswered questionable. Of it shaped the people you are becoming, and now that growth is preparing both of you for a moment that carries new meaning, a moment that may surprise you but will also feel strangely familiar because deep in your heart you always sensed that the story between you was not completely finished, that quiet intuition was not wrong, it was simply waiting for the right moment to reveal the truth, and that momentous drawing closer. So breathe calmly, stay open, and allow life to move naturally. Beckis, the one who loves you most, is gathering the courage to step toward you again, and when they do, you will understand why the universe asked you to be patty, and surprise is forming. The moment is approaching, and your heart is ready to receive it. And before this moment arrives, there is something you must understand about the energy surrounding your life right now, because what is coming is not only about another person, it is also about the reward for the quiet strength you have shown. There were days when you carried emotions no one could see, days when you smiled in public but felt heavy in private, days when your heart replayed memories while your mind tried to move forward. You asked yourself questions, you wondered why certain things happened the way they did, you wondered why love sometimes arrives with confusion attached to it. But even through those moments you did something powerful. You did not close your heart. You did not become bitter. You allowed yourself to heal instead, and healing is one of the most courageous things a soul can do, because healing requires honesty, it requires patience, it requires facing feelings that many people try to run away from, but you stayed with your truth. You allowed the pain to teach. You allowed the silence to strengthen you. You allowed time to reshape your perspective, and because of that your spirit has become clearer, stronger, peaceful. This inner growth is something the universe recognized. Nothing you experienced was wasted. Every moment was shaping the person you are becoming now, a person who understands love more deeply, a person who recognizes their worth, a person who no longer accepts half-hearted connections. And this new energy within you is powerful, because when someone grows in this way, their life begins attracting experiences that match their new level of awareness. This is why the surprise approaching you carries a different vibration. It is not the same energy you experienced before. It is calmer, more mature, more intentional. The one who loves you most is beginning to feel this change as well. They are realizing that your presence in their life was never something small. Your presence was something rare, something meaningful, something that touched parts of their heart they did not even understand at the time. And now that they are seeing things clearly, they are beginning to understand what they almost lost. That realization has created a powerful shift inside them, because sometimes people only recognize the value of something after distance reveals its absence. Their absence created space for reflection, space for truth, space for them to finally hear the voice of their own heart. And that voice has been repeating the same message: you mattered, you still matter. And the connection they felt with you was not something easily replaced. This awareness has been growing quietly inside them, day by day, thought by thought, until it reached a point Where ignoring it was no longer possible, it is where they are now standing, at the edge of a decision to either remain silent or to finally express what their heart has been feeling. And the surprising thing is their fear is slowly losing its power because truth has become stronger than hesitation. Truth has become louder than pride. Truth has become clearer than doubt. This is why their heart is moving closer toward action, and when that action arrives in your life, it may feel unexpected. It will also carry sincerity because this moment has been forming for a long time. You see, the universe does not rush meaningful things. Real transformation takes to Mariel. Understanding grows slowly, and real love often passes through seasons of learning before it reveals its full strength. Both of you have been traveling through those seasons separately, things you could not have learned any other way. You learned the importance of self-respect, the importance of protecting your peace, the importance of knowing your own value, and they learned the importance of honesty, the importance of appreciation, the importance of not letting fear control their heart. When two people grow in this way, something powerful becomes possible, not a return to old patterns, but the creation of something new, something wiser, something more balanced. This is the deeper meaning behind the surprise that is approaching you. It is not just a message, it is not just an apology, it is not just an emotional moment. It is the opening of a new chapter that has been quietly preparing itself, and that chapter will begin with something simply an honest, stepony, truthful expression, own moment, where someone chooses vulnerability instead of silence. That moment may come sooner than you think, because the courage building inside their heart is reaching its peak. They are beginning to realize something important. Life does not wait forever. Opportunities do not stay open forever, and the chance to express love must eventually be taken. It disappears. This realization is pushing them forward, pushing them toward honesty, pushing them toward Yawand. When that moment happens, you will feel it not only through words, but through energy, through the sincerity in their voice, through the truth in their eyes, through the quiet emotion that cannot be faked. You will sense that something inside them has genuinely changed, and that realization will create a moment of stillness in your heart, a moment where everything becomes clear. But remember this: you are not being asked to rush your own heart. You are not being asked to forget the lessons you learned. Your wisdom remains, your guided strength you gained remains, your protection, clarity you discovered remains your compass, because this new chapter must be built with awareness, not with old expectations, it with blind hope, but with the balanced understanding you now carry. And the beautiful thing is, you are ready for that. Your journey has prepared your healing has prepared your patience has prepared you are no longer standing in uncertainty. You are standing in calm strength, and that strength is what makes the moment ahead so powerful. Becca's love that needs strength becomes something extraordinary. It becomes something stable, something genuine, something capable of lasting far longer than the fragile connections many people experience. This is why your story is still unfolding, Becca's. Some connections are meant to teach, and some connections are meant to transform, but a few rare connections are meant to evolve, to grow through, to mature through experience, to become something deeper than either person originally understood. The connection between you carries that potential, and That is why heaven has been watching it closely, not interfering, not forcing outcomes, but allowing both hearts to grow until the moment of truth naturally arrive. At that moment is very close, no closer. Then you realize so. Do not allow doubt to cloud your peace, though. Not let old worries return to your mind. Simply remain open, remain calm, remain grounded in the beautiful strength you have developed, because the surprise forming around your life is not here to break your heart. It is here to reveal something that has been hidden behind time, behind fear, behind misunderstanding. Is here to reveal the truth of a love that refused to completely disappear. And when that truth finally reaches your eye, will understand why the journey had to unfold the way it did. You will understand why patience was necessary. You will understand why your heart was asked to grow before this moment could arrive. Everything is aligning now. The timing for awareness, the courage of truth, and soon, very soon, one who loves you most will no longer keep their feelings hidden. They are coming closer to the moment where silence and honesty finally begins. So keep your heart calm, keep your spirit open, cause a powerful surprise is already moving toward your life. And when it arrives, you will feel the quiet confirmation inside your soul that this moment was written long before either of you realized it.